Welcome Pile A. Let's see what your cards say. Overall energy. 3 of Wands reversed. For the overall energy of the next 2 weeks, we have the 3 of Wands reversed. This card suggests a feeling of waiting without clear direction. It can feel like you are ready for something to move forward, plans, communication, growth, but instead things feel paused or slightly off track. You may notice yourself thinking, "Why isn't this moving yet?" Or, "I thought I'd be further along by now." This isn't about failure, it's more about timing. For example, you might be waiting for a reply, waiting for clarity at work, or waiting for a decision that feels outside your control. The energy feels like standing at the edge of something new, but not quite stepping into it yet. The message here is to resist the urge to force progress. This pause is giving you time to adjust your expectations and prepare internally. Now let's see what's coming in the next 2 weeks. Let's see which card this is. We have the Knight of Wands. This is a big shift from the waiting energy. Something begins to move quickly. You may suddenly feel a burst of motivation or excitement. An idea that's been sitting quietly might suddenly feel urgent again. This could show up as a sudden invitation, a message you didn't expect, a strong desire to take action. For example, you might wake up one morning feeling ready to make a move, send the email, start the project, or take a risk you've been hesitating about. This energy is passionate and bold, but it's also fast. The key is to act with awareness, not impulse. Okay, now let's find out what you need to focus on. Let's see what we've got. We've got Page of Wands, reversed. This card speaks to self-doubt and hesitation around new beginnings. You may want to start something, but part of you feels unsure or unready. This can sound like, "I don't know if I'm good enough yet. What if this doesn't work? Maybe I should wait until I feel more confident." The message here is important. Confidence doesn't come before action, it comes from action. Focus on curiosity rather than confidence. Instead of asking, "Am I ready?" try asking, "What's one small step I can take?" Now let's see what you should release or avoid in the next card. What did we get? You've got 7 of Swords. This card asks you to stop avoiding difficult truths, especially with yourself. You may be tempted to avoid a conversation, pretend something doesn't bother you, overthink instead of acting, for example, saying you're fine when you're not, or quietly stepping back instead of being honest. This card encourages transparency, not confrontation. Honesty. The next 2 weeks go more smoothly when you stop strategizing and start being real. Now let's see what we have for Support and Opportunity card. Let's see what the tarot is telling us. Interesting. When I was shuffling, 2 cards jumped out. These are Knight of Wands reversed and 6 of Cups reversed. Your support and opportunity come from these 2 cards together. The Knight of Wands reversed asks you to slow down impulsive reactions. You don't need to rush or prove anything. The 6 of Cups reversed adds another layer, releasing the past. This could mean not returning to old habits, not repeating familiar relationship patterns, not choosing comfort just because it feels safe. For example, you might feel tempted to go back to something familiar, an old dynamic, a past version of yourself, or a situation that once felt good. But this card encourages you to choose growth over nostalgia. Your support comes from choosing what aligns with who you are now. Alright, now let's move on to Advice and Outcome card. The advice and outcome are shown by the Two of Pentacles reversed. This card asks you to simplify. You may be juggling too many things, emotionally, mentally, or practically. Trying to keep everything balanced may leave you feeling overwhelmed. Instead of multitasking, focus on what truly matters. Let one thing take priority. For example, choosing rest over constant productivity, saying no to extra obligations, focusing on one goal instead of 5. Once you stop trying to manage everything at once, clarity returns naturally. So here is a summary for Pile A. The next 2 weeks ask you to slow down, simplify, and trust your inner timing. Movement is coming, but it works best when you release self-doubt, stop avoiding honesty, let go of old patterns. When you choose clarity over chaos, progress feels lighter and more aligned. We hope this reading helps many of you. Thank you for spending this time with me.
Thank you for watching. Take what resonates, and I'll see you in the next reading.
Welcome, Pile B. Let's see what your cards say. For the overall energy of the next 2 weeks, we have the 9 of Pentacles. This card brings a sense of independence, self-worth, and quiet confidence. The energy around you feels grounded and stable. Even if things aren't perfect, there's a feeling that you're standing on your own feet. Over the next 2 weeks, you may notice yourself valuing your time, energy, and personal space more. You might feel less inclined to chase validation or approval from others. For example, this could look like enjoying time alone without feeling lonely, or feeling proud of progress you've made, even if no one else sees it. There's a sense of comfort in knowing you can take care of yourself. This energy reminds you that you don't need to rush or prove anything. You already have more stability than you realize. Now let's see what's coming in the next 2 weeks. Let's see what we have here. Oh, very good. What's coming in is the 2 of Wands. This card brings planning and forward thinking. You may start looking ahead and asking yourself bigger questions about direction. This doesn't feel rushed, it feels intentional. For example, you might begin considering where you want to be next, what direction actually excites you, whether your current path still fits. You may feel torn between staying comfortable and stepping into something new. This card suggests that clarity comes from allowing yourself to imagine new possibilities, without pressure to act immediately. Do you want to see what to focus on in the next 2 weeks? Alright, let's check together. What you're being asked to focus on is the 6 of Swords reversed. This card speaks to unfinished emotional transitions. You may be holding on to something mentally or emotionally that you haven't fully moved on from yet. This could show up as revisiting old conversations, replaying situations, or feeling pulled back into thoughts you believed you had already processed. The focus here is not to judge yourself for this. Healing isn't linear. Instead, ask yourself, what am I still carrying that needs closure or understanding? Sometimes the focus isn't on moving forward. It's on gently untangling what's still behind you. Okay, now, let's see what you should release and avoid in the next 2 weeks. What you're being asked to release is the Fool reversed. This card suggests fear of taking risks or fear of the unknown. You may be hesitating because you're worried about making the wrong choice. This can sound like, what if I mess this up? What if I'm not ready? What if this doesn't work? The advice here is to stop letting fear freeze you. Being cautious is wise, but being stuck isn't. Release the belief that you need absolute certainty before moving forward. Progress doesn't require perfection. Let's move on to Support and Opportunity card. Let's see what we get. 2 cards came out, so let's read them. These are beautiful cards, by the way. Your support and opportunity come from the Lovers and the Sun together, a very positive combination. This suggests alignment and clarity. Support comes from making choices that reflect your true values, not what's expected of you. You may find that honesty, openness, or heart-led decisions bring unexpected warmth or joy. For example, this could look like choosing authenticity over approval, having an honest conversation that clears the air, feeling lighter once you choose what feels right for you. The Sun brings optimism, warmth, and confidence. Even difficult choices feel clearer when you trust yourself. That sounds very good, right? Now let's see what advice and outcome card says. The advice and outcome are shown by the Knight of Pentacles. This card encourages steady, consistent effort. There's no need to rush. Over the next 2 weeks, small steps matter more than dramatic moves. Progress happens through patience and follow-through. For example, focusing on daily routines, maintaining balance, or continuing something you've already started, even when motivation fluctuates. This card assures you the consistency pays off. Slow progress is still progress. To summarize Pile B reading, the next 2 weeks are about confidence, clarity, and steady movement. That sounds awesome. You're supported in valuing yourself, releasing fear-based hesitation, and making choices that align with your truth. Even if things feel slow, you're building something solid. Trust your pace, trust your direction, and allow progress to unfold naturally. We hope this makes sense to many of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. Take what resonates, and I'll see you in the next reading.
Welcome, Pile C. Let's see what your cards say. For the overall energy of the next 2 weeks, we have the Three of Cups. This card brings an energy of connection, lightness, and shared moments. The next 2 weeks feel socially supportive, even if that support comes in small or unexpected ways. This doesn't have to mean big celebrations. It can show up as meaningful conversations, feeling understood, or moments of laughter that remind you you're not alone. For example, you might reconnect with a friend, feel more comfortable expressing yourself, or simply notice that being around others lifts your mood. There's a sense of emotional openness here, like your energy is more welcomed and seen. The overall tone feels lighter than before, even if deeper thoughts are still present underneath. Now let's see what's coming in the next 2 weeks. What's coming in is the Four of Cups. This card suggests a moment of emotional pause. After a period of connection or activity, you may find yourself feeling slightly withdrawn or unsure about what you truly want next. This isn't boredom, it's reflection. For example, you might notice that something offered to you doesn't excite you the way it once would have, or you may feel unsure about accepting an invitation, opportunity, or idea because it doesn't fully align. The Four of Cups asks you to check in with yourself instead of reacting automatically. What's coming in is awareness, realizing what no longer satisfies you. Now, let's look at what card we have next, what you should focus on in the next 2 weeks. What you're being asked to focus on is the Five of Swords. This card highlights conflict, not always external, but often internal. Over the next 2 weeks, you may notice moments where you feel the need to defend yourself, prove a point, or win emotionally. This could show up as replaying arguments in your head, feeling misunderstood, or holding on to resentment. The focus here is to ask yourself whether being right is worth the emotional cost. For example, choosing peace over proving your point, or stepping away from conversations that feel draining rather than productive. This card encourages you to protect your energy, instead of engaging in battles that leave everyone exhausted. Now, are you ready to check what you should release and avoid in the next 2 weeks? Let's find out. What you're being asked to release or avoid is the Ten of Pentacles. This card often represents long-term expectations, ideas about security, success, or how things should look. You may be holding on to a rigid vision of stability, whether that's family expectations, career goals, or relationship milestones. Over the next 2 weeks, this attachment may feel heavy. For example, comparing yourself to others, feeling pressure to have everything figured out, or staying in a situation purely because it looks secure from the outside. The message here is to loosen your grip on outcomes that are based on expectation rather than fulfillment. Let's ask Tarot what support and opportunity you can expect in the next 2 weeks. Your support and opportunity come from the Eight of Swords reversed. This is a powerful card of mental release. It suggests that clarity becomes available once you realize you're not as trapped as you thought. Over the next 2 weeks, you may experience a shift in perspective, recognizing that you have more options than you've been allowing yourself to see. For example, realizing you can say no, change your mind, or walk away without explaining everything. This card supports mental freedom and self-trust. You're supported in choosing yourself, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Finally, let's see what advice and outcome you can expect in the next 2 weeks. Let's see what card we get. The advice and outcome are shown by the Ace of Pentacles reversed. This card suggests a pause around new beginnings. Rather than rushing into something new, the guidance here is to reassess whether an opportunity is truly aligned. This could look like delaying a commitment, rethinking a plan, or deciding not to invest your energy just yet. The outcome isn't loss, it's discernment. By waiting and choosing carefully, you protect your time and energy. Sometimes saying, "not now," is the most empowering choice. With that said, let's summarize your reading for Pile C. The next 2 weeks invite you to balance connection with self-awareness. You're supported by meaningful interactions, but also asked to be honest about what no longer fulfills you. Let go of unnecessary conflict, release pressure around long-term expectations, and allow yourself the freedom to choose what truly aligns. You don't need to rush into anything new. Clarity comes when you give yourself permission to pause. We hope this makes sense to many of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. Take what resonates, and I'll see you in the next reading.